Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All India Radio Houston. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, your host, and we will be here for the next hour. This is a talk show where we focus in depth on one or two topics that are of interest to you. You can join in the conversation by calling 281-983-9550. The telephone number again is 281-983-9550. If you would like to be a guest on this program, please contact us at 281-265-7567. This program in part has been sponsored by Sugarland Heart Center. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All India Radio Houston. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, your host. We will be here from 10 to 11 a.m. And this is the first time we are doing the All India Radio on a Saturday, so we may be encountering some technical challenges, but that will not undermine our spirit to proceed with our radio program. If you'd like to join in the conversation, the number to call here is 281-983-9550. We have two special guests today, and my first guest is Himesh Gandhi. He is a Sugarland Council member, and we're going to talk to him about the state of affairs in Sugarland and about himself. And during the second half of the hour, we're going to talk to Dr. Rajendra Apparasu, who is the chairman of the Department of School of Pharmacy at the University of Houston, along with his student, and learn more about the School of Pharmacy. So those of you who are interested in looking into a career in pharmacy, get your papers and pencils. The number to call here is 281-983-9550. My special guest this time is Himesh Gandhi, who is a council member of the Sugarland city. Himesh Gandhi, welcome to All India Radio.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nikam. Thank you for having me on this gorgeous Saturday morning.
It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and Himesh, let's start off with a little bit of your background. Tell us about
Sure.
Where you went to school and what kind of training did you have, and what got you interested in politics to begin with?
Well, I grew up in Sugarland. I've lived in Sugarland over 23 years. I actually went to high school in Sugarland.
Yes.
I stayed there during my college years at Houston Baptist University.
Yeah.
And then I received a law degree from South Texas College of Law.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, after I graduated from law school, I was with a firm in Sugarland for about 10 years and continued to practice law as well.
So what got you interested in politics?
Well, it was more community service. I always wanted to give back to the community that I grew up in, and I've got involved in a number of nonprofit organizations. I got involved with a number of commissions and boards that the city had, and through that process I wanted to give back further and extend my career, so I decided to run for the city council position about 2 years ago.
That's interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to All India Radio Houston. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, your host. The number to call here, if you'd like to join in the conversation, the number is 281-983-9550. We just want to remind you, next week on February 22nd, we are going to be coming to you live from the Skeeters Stadium. So we're going to be giving a live cricket commentary, which is going to be held at the Skeeters Stadium, sponsored by the Memorial Harmon Cricket tournament, and all the doctors will be competing in the cricket match for a good cause, which is a fundraiser.
Are you going to be playing too?
I am going to be giving the running commentary.
Okay.
Last year I gave like 5-hour non-stop cricket commentary. That's one of my passions. So I will be giving cricket commentary, and that will be broadcast live on All India Radio Houston simultaneously between 10 and 11 a.m. So let's get back to tell me, what is the role of a city councilman?
Well, myself, along with the other council members and the mayor, we have three primary goals. We hire a city manager who runs the day-to-day policies of the city. We approve a budget.
I see,
And we also provide policy to the city manager and his staff for execution of what our vision is for the city.
No, I see. I mean, who sets the agenda for the city meetings?
Well, the council and the mayor will have influence on what are the topics.
Oh,
So-
that's interesting. So we're going to get into a lot of these interesting topics as far as the city government is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to call in and ask your questions to Himesh, the number to call here is 281-983-9550. Let me ask you a question. How much of an influence a council member has in the city?
Well, you got to remember, there's not
Yeah.
just one council
That's right.
member. I work with a team, and we collaboratively
Yeah.
look to move the city along. So as a group, we're always looking for a consensus.
Nice, yeah.
We may not get all the things that I personally want
Yeah.
in the city. My council members that may have some different opinions, but at the end of the day, we try to come to a decision that will move the city along.
So is every major item that is put before your council meeting, it has to be voted upon? Is it a simple majority, or how does it work?
Yes, we typically will get some background information.
Yes.
If it's a major issue that may have a lot of questions, we may workshop in an
I see.
informal setting to
Yeah.
go through the topics. At some point, it will come up after a publication for the public
Yeah.
to understand that this topic is going to be coming up on an agenda.
Yeah.
We may take public input at that time, and then we will vet that issue, and then we'll vote on it.
That's
And-
interesting, because I did take Sugarland 101 for
Wonderful.
the public, and
Great.
I learned a great deal about the city setup and how the city government functions compared to the state and municipal
Well, you
districts.
you asked me earlier about how I got involved,
Yeah.
and in fact, one of the first things that I did early on in my career was take Sugarland 101.
Is that right?
And so that really opened my eyes to all the different things that go on in the city. So I'm glad you took that, and I encourage all of our listeners and all of our
That's
residents.
right, yeah. Yeah, you are right. I think. Okay, let's continue with the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to All India Radio Houston. My special guest is Himesh Gandhi. He is a council member for City of Sugarland. If you'd like to join in the conversation, the number to call here is 281-983-9550. We're going to continue with our conversation, and let's see if our technology to cooperate with us. Anyway, let's continue with. Is this your first term?
I am in my first term, yes, sir.
So when you said this is my first term, that means there's many more terms to come.
I hope so. I certainly do hope so.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing to hear. Oh, okay, let's talk about 2013. What are the major accomplishments by the city of Sugarland, and what are your interpretations of those?
Well, that's a.
Some of the things they may have accomplished, which
I think you said I only have about 20 minutes here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we had a banner year in 2013.
Yeah.
We had a number of accomplishments, and in fact, our city just had in January the State of the City with Mayor
Yeah.
Thompson and our city manager Alan Bogard, which highlighted a lot of our accomplishments. But we had a number of things, Dr. Nikam.
Yeah.
We had a number of corporate relocations to the area.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the ones that's in your neck of the woods
Yeah.
is the Texas Instruments building that you'll be seeing
see, yeah.
getting built. That was one of our economic development projects. We have a performing arts theater that is being built.
Oh, yes. When is this going to be ready? And tell us about this performing arts
Yeah.
theater, because that's going to be one of the major attractions
Right.
for the major functions.
Well, one of the goals for the city is to become a destination city.
Yeah.
And through that process, we identified that the city could benefit from
Yeah.
having a performing arts theater. And through that process, we last year signed the completion design plans
Yeah.
for a performing arts theater. It's going to hold about 6,500 people. None of the funds used for that project were from the general fund or property taxes. These were all done through sales tax dollars.
I see, yeah.
And it will be 6,500 seated stadium. You're going to have your music theaters and
Yeah.
music programs. We're going to break ground in June of this year, and
I
it'll
see,
be
yeah.
about a 2-year construction project.
When you say it's going to be paid for by the taxes, what about the initial cost of putting this building up together? How is it financed?
That's a good question. It's actually a public-private partnership.
I see, yeah.
And we have a partner that's involved that is called Ace Theatrical.
I see, yeah.
They used to be known as PACE, for those who have lived in the Houston area
Yeah.
for a long time. They have been a leader in putting on performing arts programs, so they have partnered
yeah.
with us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Himesh Gandhi, Councilman for Sugarland, City of Sugarland, and if you'd like to join in the conversation, or if you'd like to ask any questions, please call us here. The number to call here is 281-983-9550. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and this is All India Radio Houston, 1090 AM. We have just moved to Saturdays. I know some of you may be surprised to hear us. From Friday, we have moved our radio time to Saturdays at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So we will be here every Saturday. Okay, let's continue with the other accomplishments of City of Sugarland in year 2013.
Well, the other, Constellation Field you had brought up
Yeah.
earlier next week is the cricket match there, but that has been a major accomplishment
That's
for the
true,
city.
yes.
It is continuing to break records of attendance, and we continued that trend last year, and we look to do that again this year as well.
It's amazing because, it was built as a junior league baseball, but I didn't ever envision for it to be used for so many different
Right.
functions, from rock concerts to church Easter services to concerts and all kinds of stuff, including cultural and musical programs.
Well, the stadium was designed to not only be a venue for
Yeah.
baseball, but now we have had 4th of July there.
That's right.
We've had Diwali has been there.
Yeah.
Some of the Diwali.
That's our
And so we're going to continue to find ways of using that facility for other things, not just baseball. So,
yeah. So what are the accomplishments?
well, one that was near and dear to my heart that I believe is, as a council member and as a city, that we need to make sure
Yeah.
that our residents are safe. And
Yeah.
last year we were voted the 19th safest city in all of America.
Yes.
And that is a major, major accomplishment. And again, we're going to continue to find ways to make us the #1 city in America
Yeah.
in terms of safety. So that was a major accomplishment, but it's something we're going to continue to build upon.
Oh,
So.
okay. Let's continue with this. There were some questions about bringing up some like parks and trails and things like that. I think part of it got passed, and you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. Last year, the city held a bond election.
Yeah.
2 out of the 3 projects that were on the agenda passed. Those included a trails project, which will be about 10 miles of hike and bike trails connecting parts of the city, and the other will be a park project around the Brazos River,
Yeah.
which you will find a festival site there, and about 120 plus acres of land there that will be developed.
I see. Okay, we've seen a tremendous growth in the city of Sugarland and in the whole Fort Bend County area. And every time a new business comes in, I think this means more dollars for the city. What I should budget, doesn't it?
Well, what it does is it expands the tax base.
Well,
and
that's what I was going to come to.
Yeah.
It expands the tax base, but the tax rates never go down. So, could you explain, why, if you're getting more businesses, and especially businesses probably should be paying more taxes,
yeah.
but the residential taxes never go down, and actually our property values go up, even though the properties are not selling at that rate.
Right. Well, the rate is one part of it.
Yeah.
And the rates have gone down in the past. In fact, our city has one of the lowest tax rates in the entire area.
Yeah.
And in fact, entire state of Texas. So they have gone down in the past. This year, when we passed our budget of 2013, we actually kept the tax rates flat.
Yeah.
And so, depending on what the valuations do, there might be another opportunity to roll back the taxes. That's a process that the city, the council, and we have a financial policy that we go through, and we look at that on an annual basis, and we see if there's some adjustments that need to get made there. So.
Okay.
But we always want to keep our tax rates low. So.
As you know, the Desi population, both Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lanka, all this, it's a substantial number in the Sugarland area and in the Fort Bend County. Do we have an equal representation in terms of city contracts? If not, how can the Indians, Pakistanis, and Bangladeshis have a fair chance at the city contracts so that, they can benefit from living and paying taxes in the county.
Well, we have a policy of giving everybody an equal to opportunity, and we have a process that we go through, and we vet all of our vendors. All of our vendors who do business with the city has to go through a qualification process, and through our processes, we try to find whether it's a Bangladesh company or an Indian company or a Chinese company or whatever it might be. We just want the best people doing the best jobs for our city.
So how do they go about finding out if there are any city contracts available?
It depends what contracts you're referring to. If you're looking at whether it has to do with engineering or construction, the city puts out those on its website. It also puts it in some of the local newspapers, and we have a department that handles that as well. So I'll be more than happy to pass that information along.
Okay,
to
well,
you.
That's very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for city contracts and you are in the Sugar Land Fort Bend area, best thing would be to go to the City of Sugar Land website and look out. And as Himesh said, this is going to be a fair, open deal, so you should be able to compete with the rest of the groups. And if you have the best service and the cost price, I guess you have a fair chance of getting it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to join in the conversation, the number to call here is 2819-839550. You're listening to All India Radio Houston. We have just moved to Saturdays from 10 to 11, starting this week, and that's why I'm saying we may have some technical challenges, but nonetheless, we are recording this, so we'll put it on YouTube. So if you want to come back and listen to this, if you'd like to join in the conversation, the number here is 2819-839550. My special guest is Himesh Gandhi. He is a City of Sugar Land Council member, and we are talking about accomplishments of City of Sugar Land in the last year. So let's continue with what other accomplishments you have. I think we have a caller. Let's take this caller and then we'll shift. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, you're
Good
on
morning.
All India Radio. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is Yogesh Patel. And
Yes, sir.
First, I'd like to congratulate Himesh Gandhi for doing an excellent job at City of Sugar Land.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
And I know that because I'm in an engineering business
Yes.
for so many years in my life, and I have known a lot of good people and engineering people work with in transportation department.
Yes.
I think Sugar Land City has done a tremendous job of maintaining the traffic and handling all the traffic signals and stuff like that. Because normally as a professional, we talk about it and what to do better, and I think City of Sugar Land done an excellent job.
Thank you very much for your comments. We spend a lot of our time and resources to make sure that not only do we take care of our citizens and the roads and the transportation, but we're hiring a first-class staff, and they handle
And
those.
I know that personally, because I know there's a lot of City of Sugar Land engineers personally, and they are excellent people. So.
You're absolutely right. I've been living in Sugar Land for 30 plus years, and in fact I was listening to Mayor Anise Parker's interview on PBS yesterday. One of the major questions that was asked was about potholes in the city of Houston. She said we got 16,000 miles of roads. Unless somebody reports a pothole, they just can't get to those. But you're right. City of Sugar Land does. I mean, it's a brand new city, as you know, and most of the roads are really new.
I have one question for.
Yes,
what
please.
is that new plan for that city park? I think you're supposed to have a new cricket ground, and can you update on that?
Yes, that was, Dr. Nikam had talked about those bond projects earlier. That was a community park that the caller is referring to that was on the bond agenda. This was the one project out of the three that did not pass by the voters. So currently we do not have a funding source for that project. But at some point down the line, we'll relook at that project and we'll see if we have an alternative funding source to make that happen. So
I see.
Okay, excellent job. Just keep on doing a great job, Himesh.
Well, thank you very much.
Support you all the way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And please do tell all your friends to tune in to 1090 a.m. on every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m.
Definitely do.
And we'll get very, very interesting guests to keep you all educated, entertained, and informed.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. Okay, let's continue with our conversation that we are having. What are the mega plans for year 2014?
Well,
the city of Sugar Land.
Something that the caller had brought up that
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of expand on.
Yeah.
You talked about the city of Houston and their potholes.
Yes.
One of the things that our city is doing is we've done an inventory of all the roads in the
Yes.
city, and we're going to prioritize certain
I see,
roads that
yeah.
are also going through some of the similar issues.
Yeah.
We may relatively be a young city, but after being incorporated since 1959,
Yeah.
after 30 years on some of these roads, it is time for
That's right, yeah.
redevelopment and going back and repairing some of these roads. So we are actually making that a priority for us, going through all the roads, inventorying them,
Yeah.
determining which ones need to be repaired, and doing
That's-
a prioritization. So you'll see that
that's
happening.
good. So let's talk about what are the ambitious plans and projects that the city of Sugar Land has year 2014.
Well, our mayor gives us a whole lot of assignments.
I see.
We've got a number
You
of.
got to start somewhere, unless you have a mission, you can't get anywhere.
That's right, and it's a vision that this council has and the
Yeah.
mayor has, and I'll give you a few projects. We're going to be implementing our own ambulance service.
I see, yeah.
And that is it's going to be something new for the city. As the city has not had that.
That's kind of strange, though, because I've been living in Sugar Land for 30 years, whereas Harris County has their own ambulance system for decades.
Well, let me comment. The Fort Bend County has it.
I see. Oh, yeah, Fort Bend County.
But
yeah.
what we are switching
Yeah.
to is having our
city.
the city of Sugar Land, having
Yeah.
its own ambulance program.
How does that work, and how does it benefit the city?
Well, number one, the response times, rather than going
yeah.
through the county, will provide our citizens a much shorter response time. So if you have a health
I see,
issue,
yeah.
we'll be able to address that. We will dictate how that happens. It'll go through our staff, our fire department,
Yeah.
and so that gives us the benefit of providing that service.
Is there going to be a conflict between the city and the county as to who is going to respond to a given particular call, or is it zoned like based on where the call is coming from?
Well, that's a good question, but we're still early in this process, but it is going to be a collaborative. There are going to be overlap with the county in some regard, so we're going to need to work with them on some of those fine details, but we're looking at implementing this program in 2015, so we have a little time, but we want to make sure we get it right, so we're
If you
starting.
need any help, let me know, because I've been a doctor and I've been in Fort Bend County or on Sugar Land for
Well, I may take you up on that, Dr. Nikam.
30 years. Okay, so how long is your term, and when is it time for the next
Well, I'm glad you
round?
asked me that. I am actually.
This is a pure question, it is not.
I have announced that I am seeking re-election.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, sir. And so we will be having elections
So,
this
ladies and gentlemen, you heard it on All India Radio Houston. This is 10:90 a.m. from Himesh Gandhi that he is, in fact, running for election. Okay, when is the election?
The election will be May 10th. So
this May 10th.
This year. So
Oh,
I will
okay.
be completing my 2-year term.
2-year terms?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, now maybe you have more questions to ask. So if you like, just call us here, and maybe we'll get him back again before the election, and see, what are the things that he stands for. Okay, let's tell us what are the things that you would like to see if you're elected the second term.
Well, this is a critical time for the city. We're going through a land use update where we're re-examining the remaining land that is in the city. All the land in our city is zoned a certain way, and it's planned to be in for a certain use. And we're re-examining that process. We're here, demographics of the city are constantly changing. So we're looking to make sure that we determine what's best for that remaining pieces of land. Like I talked about, the emergency services, that's going to be a major implementation to bring on that department into our city. Continuing the performing arts theater that we talked about, implementation of those bond projects, the hike and bike trails, the festival site, and then we're going to continue to make sure that we address some of the redevelopment issues and the aging infrastructure that the city has. Drainage, we're about to do some major drainage projects in Sugar Creek, which is a subdivision in Sugar Land. We're working in Sugar Mill and Ragus Lakes, which are subdivisions throughout the city. So these are all projects that are going to be ongoing through 2014, 2015, and hopefully with your support and the supporters of the citizens of Sugar Land, I'll continue to be a part of that process. So.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to All India Radio Houston. My special guest is Himesh Gandhi. He's a council member for Sugar Land, and he just announced that he will be running for the second term for the City of Sugar Land Councilman position, and the elections are going to be in May. Let us hear from you. What are the things that you have learned in your first term, and how it's going to make a difference? What changes you would like to see in yourself if you're elected for the second term?
Well, you know, nobody's perfect, and you know, the first 2 years is always probably the first year I was just trying to figure out where the bathroom is on some degree, but you know,
like they say in Washington, it takes 4 years to just find out which hallway you're walking in.
That's right. And the city of Sugar Land's no different. But I'm very proud of our record. I'm proud of my accomplishments for the last 2 years. We worked diligently. I think you know, I really enjoy working with our council members and our mayor. We've been, as a group, we've had some major accomplishments, and I think this group going forward will continue that. So if you want to see continued growth and prosperity, I think keeping with this council is the way to go.
So what would be your major points in terms of standing for the election for the second term?
Well, again, I mentioned it earlier. To me, public safety is my absolute number one focus.
Safety.
If we're not protecting and keeping our citizens safe, then we need to look at what our jobs are. So that will be important for me. Economic development, continuing the process, bringing more people into our city, making it truly a destination city. And making sure the quality of life for our citizens continues to be at a very high level. That's what previous mayors and councils have done that. I think we're going to continue that and continue to make Sugar Land one of the greatest cities in the U.S. to live in. So.
Okay, I have another question, and that is concerning the activities that go on at the town center, which is a great attraction through all summer and fall. I would like to find out if we see a lot of concerts from the Hispanic group, from the rock group, from the country music group, and all these things. What do I have to do to get All India Radio put a grand musical program displaying every type of Indian music, from bhajans, classical, to ghazals, to dance, hip-hop, all kinds of stuff. So
I think that would be a great idea.
I really want to showcase the entire Indian music industry, all the, as I said, from classicals all the way to the hip-hop.
The town square has been a jewel for the city of Sugar Land. It has been one of those we talked about earlier about public-private partnerships. That town square was a public-private partnership between the city and a developer called Planned Community Development. Planned Community Development, also known as PCD, manages that property, and they have a management company that puts on the entertainment. So I encourage you to reach out to them and make that happen.
Later on off air, if you can give me the information, I would like to put together a very nice program so that we can bring all different genre of music with dance and do an excellent showcase of India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Calcutta to all the way to the west coast.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, we got a couple of more minutes left, and let's talk about city permits. Your city permits are one of the most sticking points every time I talk to a lot of my patients who are in the construction industry. Tell us in 1 minute, what can city do to expedite these city contracts?
Well, they're number one. We can only handle so much of it sometimes. So and we have a number one staff. They do a great job, and what they try to do is tackle the issues as they come in and be comprehensive rather than just handing out permits for folks who may not necessarily have all their ducks in an order. But on the other hand, we need to make sure that we're doing it at an efficient time. I believe on residential permits, those type of things come in within 7 days.
That's pretty good.
So on the business side, if usually you get a 2-week turnaround. turnaround.
Yeah.
So those are pretty high numbers, and that's a pretty expedient turnaround process.
See, these are some of the things I hear from my
Sure.
patients, who come here, who are an architect or a builder or something
Right.
like that. And they say, they're sitting on this permit for like several weeks.
Well,
and time is money.
and I trust me, I understand that, and we want to make sure that we
Yeah.
turn those things around. But I feel like our staff does a great job, and they'll
Yeah.
continue to improve the turnaround time, and we'll make sure that gets done efficiently.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to All India Radio Houston. I'm Dr. Nik Nikam, your host. The number to call here is 281-983-9550. My special guest is Himesh Gandhi, and he's a council member for Sugarland, City of Sugarland. Any final thoughts?
No, thank you, Dr. Nikam. Continue to do this show, and thank you for having me this morning. I really appreciate it. And one message that I'll give to the citizens of Sugarland, if there's anything that I can help with, no matter what part of town you're in, or if you have any issues,
Do you have a phone number?
I will absolutely put that out there. It is.
Yeah.
You can call the City of Sugarland. You can call my cell phone,
Yeah.
832-755-9790. Be happy to visit with you.
Thank you very much, Himesh. And ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to All India Radio. We'll be right back after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to All India Radio Houston on 1090 AM. This is a talk show where we focus on one or two topics in depth on a variety of subjects. If you would like to hear on a particular topic, call us or send us an email, and we will try to get experts to share their views and opinions. If you would like to be a guest on this program and share your views, please give us a call at 281-265-7567 or send us an email at drnicknikam@gmail.com.